Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new draft review. This time we will take a look at the draft Evil Geniuses vs Counter-Logic Gaming. I didn't really wanted to make a video about the draft from those two teams because I only want to do for every 5 games in LEC and LCS 2 games, and I already had planned the games that I wanted to show the drafts. But yeah, I just thought that this was a great opportunity to show you how not to draft. But we're just gonna start, and I'm then gonna talk about it. Evil Geniuses start off with a set ban. I personally feel like that this is not really necessary. This says maybe we were gonna want to first pick a tank, or it says we just can't play against set. We can't pick it. We don't want to pick it ourselves, or we can't play against it, or we don't want to play against it. Which is, I personally think this is a wasted ban. But whatever. CLG then bans away the virus, which is fine. Obviously, you don't want to give away virus, especially not to play like Bang, who is really good. Evil Geniuses then bans out the Ornn, which is another surprise for me, because I mean, I was maybe expecting them to pick Ornn here. This also shows that they just apparently can't play against Set, and they also apparently don't want to play against Ornn, because I don't know why they would have priority on R1 or 2 on Ornn. That wouldn't make a lot of sense in my eyes. CLG then banned Callista, which is very smart, because Evil Geniuses showed in the last game that they probably can't pick Syndra, or just don't feel confident picking Syndra, and they could now ban here Graves, which they also do. We can already tap that in, which means that Syndra would be up. You could they either had to ban themselves here, or they had to pick it, because otherwise CLG would have gotten it. So they had to ban it, because apparently they can't can't play it, so it's not a flex pick, or they just don't feel comfortable playing it, which is basically means that at least 2 bans from Evil Geniuses are wasted, the Zed and the Syndra, and I also think that Ornn is wasted as well. The only real possibility to pick Ornn would be in R3, because with the Callista banning away also suggests that they want to pick Ezreal. And because they also banned away the Callista, they can't ban away Yuumi or Ezreal here on the third ban, which means they get for free. I can already do that here. Which means they get free Ezreal Yuumi, which is what they wanted to get. Evil Geniuses pick up Aphelios. I don't think that's a huge surprise. I hope that CLG was already thinking about that, because Evil Genius or Bang always wants to get Aphelios if it's open. And then also they pick up Lulu. I already said in my previous video, I don't really know how this matchup really works, but apparently a lot of players do want to opt in to that, and both teams feel fine with getting Ezreal Yuumi or getting Aphelios Lulu, and letting the other one get the other 2. And they also pick Trundle, which is a completely troll pick in my eyes, because Trundle, you have no tanks here at the moment, right? So Trundle basically loses his purpose to shred a tank and to become very tanky himself, at least at the moment. And Trundle also has still a lot of counter picks that are available. Nearly is available, Current is available. Also very good counter picks for against Trundle. And then CLG does something strange, but something that apparently works. They pick up Jace, which means normally Jace, you wouldn't blind pick Jace, because there are ways to counter Jace quite easily. But CLG says, alright, we clearly want to show you we are going to we're going to do a poke comp, and they don't focus on getting Zoe, which was a little bit surprising, because I thought they would rather try to get Zoe than Jace, but apparently they have very high priority on Jace. I mean, they for sure will have their reasons for that. Maybe a Ruin really likes Jace, or has practiced a lot on Jace, and then they ban out the Malphite, which is completely fine, which is probably even the best ban you can do, because Malphite obviously with his shield can absorb a lot of damage. He has good engaged potential for a champion that maybe is not has not the possibility to dash out like an Ezreal. He can obviously go onto Jace, but Jace normally shouldn't be in that kind of danger, especially early on. So I think Malphite is a really smart pick, and the classes kind of made fun about that ban, which I don't really understand. And then Evil Geniuses ban out the Zoe, which is a good ban, basically the only good ban at this point. Because if you give away the Zoe, then you can basically surrender unless you can't find like some kind of hard engage on top lane or on mid lane, which aren't really available since Ornn is banned, Malphite's banned. So there aren't really a lot of ways that you can really engage on them, and they can just poke you out very easy. And even with those three, they can poke you out very easy if you don't have any engage options. CLG's last ban then is LeBlanc, which I think is so good. LeBlanc obviously can burst Yumi if she's out of position. She can burst Ezreal if he uses his E, even though this is difficult. And she obviously is also a threat for Jace in the possible mid lane as well. Maybe even a bad matchup for the mid laner that they try to pick, or maybe even threatening the jungler depending on what they want to pick. I mean, I would say they should pick Nidalee or Kindred would have been probably better. Probably better. And EG's last ban is Galio, something that I again don't really understand. I don't know why they would try to pick Galio. This just doesn't fit with their composition. I don't understand. And why they would ban away Galio, or why CLG would want to pick Galio. And then CLG pick up Nidalee. I think Kindred would have been the better option here. I just personally feel like I mean, Nidalee can't really jump into Aphelios because yeah, especially like if only Lulu is there, she can polymorph, and Nidalee can't really do a lot. And Aphelios can for example blow her up, especially like later on into the game. Also Trundle can if Trundle is there as well, then Nidalee can't really just freely jump onto Aphelios, so Nidalee is kind of restricted in a way, but obviously she's very, very strong early game and also will be very strong mid game, and obviously, and this is like probably the reason why they picked Nidalee, is because of her spears. She is also a poke champion in mid game and also early game, right? And now you have also from the jungle another poke champion. Then Evil Geniuses, they pick up Twisted Fate. I don't understand that as well. Normally, I mean, if they don't misplay, Twisted Fate can't reach Ezreal. Yumi never at all. She can't really reach Jace unless Jace goes into melee range or goes into his melee form and attacks Twisted Fate or someone else. And she can't really engage onto Nidalee unless Nidalee goes into her melee form as well. So Twisted Fate is kind of useless. Ezreal can jump away, Nidalee can jump away, and the only real target with his R even is only Jace, which is kind of suboptimal, I feel like. So Jace doesn't really make a lot of sense. And then they also pick Poppy. Again, Poppy, they obviously try to get some kind of an engage and some kind of tankiness. Probably is even the best option. They could consider Cho'Gath. They could consider Maokai. Cho'Gath has a terrible matchup into Jace, so can't really pick him up. And what was the other? Maokai probably has a fine matchup into Jace, similar to Poppy. So I feel like I think Maokai. I would prefer Maokai. But both champions are, I think, okay. Not particularly great because Poppy basically needs to come from behind. So they have to here fight in the rivers or like the jungles for Poppy to really have a lot of value. Because if you just fight here in mid lane, for example, she doesn't have not a lot of value. She can't really get onto a target. She can't really come from behind. And Poppy has to come from a flank. Trundle as well, Twisted Fate as well. So they all have to come from a flank to really have a lot of impact. But we're just gonna first of all the last pick of CLG, which is Cassio, which I think, I mean, it's okay. It's not particularly great. Maybe Azir would have been better. So because Jace is quite early game, Ezreal is fine late game. If there's no threat on the enemy team for him, which they don't have. Nidalee isn't the greatest late game, and Cassio is also fine late game. But I think, for example, Azir would have been better because because of the range advantage that you would get. But overall, this is basically what I wanted to say. Also, is that CLG's draft is obviously a poke-comp. If they get behind early, then there could be problems. But Evil Genius's draft is just everything looks so messy and so fucked up and so terrible. And if I will just get really angry if Evil Geniuses will win with that kind of draft the game. They probably will, because Evil Geniuses individual players are just so much better than CLG's. But their draft is absolutely terrible. Their draft was bad against 100 Thieves. They won. Their draft is bad, probably even worse here. Basically, they don't have any synergies between their own champions, maybe with the exception of Felios and Ludu. They have no engage option. They will get just poked out if Poppy can't absorb all the damage, and even then, at some point, Poppy will get low as well. And if like one shot from Jace hits Lulu or Felios, they're just half HP away, gone, and yeah, it's just absolutely terrible. CLG clearly won the draft, and just wanted to show you how to not draft. They wasted basically 1, 2, 3, possibly 4, because they would have needed that themselves. Probably 4 bans they wasted. This is a very bad pick. This is a very bad pick. This is a fine. This is actually a fine or a good pick, considering that there was nothing else to pick up. So overall, just terrible. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time.